Okay, this next portion of the video is going to be covering trigger point therapy. You can do this either with a ball or, if you have one, a foam roller. I'm just going to be using a tennis ball because it's going to be easier for most people to use this. What you're going to do is just go through how to trigger point, where you're going to do them, and then also the stretch that's going to follow immediately after each one of those. So we're going to start with the piriformis, which is just a small muscle in the bum. What we want to do is cross, we'll go to the right foot actually, sorry. Cross the right foot over the other leg, jump onto your back, then popping the ball underneath the same leg that you've crossed over, just underneath the bum. Now what we want to do is roll slightly onto the side there and just find a nice tender spot. You're going to hold for about 20 seconds until you feel it dissipate. Then find a new spot again just by moving it around, holding for another 20 seconds until you feel it dissipate. Find about 5 spots on one side, switch over, do the other side. Then, really simple to stretch these ones out, stay in exactly that same position, hand through the hole, pull the leg up towards the chest and stretch out that way, again for both sides there. From there, we're going to move into glute max. Still the same sort of an area there, so you're going to hit a couple of the same spots again. All we want to do for this one is just sitting on the ground, legs down or feet up, whatever you prefer. Under the bum, all you're going to do is just find a nice tender spot again. Again, finding 5 spots on each side of the bum here. When you're done, you're going to do a glute max stretch and a glute med stretch. Glute max stretch, all you're going to do is fold the leg under you, come down onto your haunches and squeeze, holding, feeling that bum stretch out. Again, both sides here. When you're done, taking a seat, crossing one leg over, pulling that leg up to the body and across, and getting a stretch on the outside of that hip. Again, both sides there, holding for time. Hamstrings, really simple here. We're just going to find 10 spots. Start at the top of the hamstring and work your way down, just releasing points as you go, both sides there. As soon as you're done, we're going to go into a double leg standing hamstring stretch. So standing, hip width apart, all we're going to do is come down as far as you feel comfortable with. Don't worry about keeping the back straight for this one, just come down as far as you can. Feel stretch straight through both hamstrings there, and holding for time. From that one, we're going to go into semitendinosus, which is the outside of your hamstrings, crossing one foot over the other, coming down to the ground again. You'll feel a nice stretch on the outside of the leg, holding for time, making sure you're doing both sides. Going into a seated single leg hamstring, so foot into the other leg. All we're doing, reaching forward as far as you can, pulling back and getting a stretch. Obviously, if you can't get to the toe, just grab onto the leg or just lean forward as far as you can. Squeeze the quads through this one, that will help keep your leg planted onto the ground. Going into the lower back, so lying flat on the ground, popping the ball on one side of your spine, relatively close to it, just towards the lower back where you generally get your pain issues. We're going to find 3 spots here, but we're going to hold for a little bit longer. So 3 spots on one side of the spine, 3 spots on the other side of the spine. Then all we're going to do is a couple of lower back stretches. First one, you're going to cross the leg straight all the way over the body. Same side hand comes back to the ground on the opposite side, holding for time. Going through again on the other side. Then we can get into child's pose. So onto your haunches. All we're doing is leaning forward as far as you can. Forearms onto the ground and breathing into the lower back. Holding for time there. Last one doesn't have any trigger pointing at all. All we're doing is stretching out the hip flexors. So number 1, nice and easy. into a kneeling position. If you get a sore knee at all, just pop a pillow under or a towel. Leaning forward, getting a stretch through the front of the hip. Squeeze the same side bum of what you're stretching and hold for time. Both sides again there. Then when you come back to the first side, what you're going to do is put both hands on the inside of that front foot, press up onto the back toe, push that heel towards the ground and stretch out the hip flexor again. Both sides again, and that will cover your stretches.